Who told you that Soto would at least hit 2 home runs this series, huh? Well, he didn't make me a liar. He got us going. And look, hopefully the law firm of Minter, Weaver, and Williams comes through and closes the case tonight. But so far, so good. We have a lot to talk about. Um, First off, let me just tell you that Weaver looks like a dog. I mean, he's throwing 97. He looks like he's just ready for bear. And confidence, it's the whole thing. This guy hasn't given up a run in quite a while. We have Soto up here, 2-1, no out, 6-3 Mets, top 9. The pitch. After the first two at bats, he hasn't looked too well. He had a hit. But so what can you say? Simeon, big triple. That's just a veteran at bat. He used to do that a lot more often. And there's a shot to the shortstop, probably 100 miles an hour. That ball hit that ball hard. But that's fine, Juan. You hit 2 home runs. You got the game started right away. One away. I'd like to get another run or two here. And please, I don't want to keep saying it. I can't watch Brett Beatty anymore. Why do I have to watch Melendez and Beatty? And I just can't watch them anymore. Beatty's unwatchable now. And Melendez is getting there. God, Mauricio, come back. I just can't take Beatty's at-bats anymore. I just can't, because they're non-competitive. But look, rule of threes, I've been telling you that since you've been watching me. You can't get swept, and you have to sweep when you can. You go 2-0, you have to sweep. You go 0-2, you can't get swept. As long as you do that, the team will be over 500. And look, it looks like 84 or 85 is going to be right in the wild card hunt. So can we play 12, 13 games over 500 from this point on? You tell me. Mania was serviceable. What do you go, 5 1/3? Two of the runs are earned of the 3 that Mania gave up. Very serviceable. He certainly looks like he's back to being competitive. He's not the Mania of 2 years ago. He was a beast. But look, like I said, just give me 3 runs in 6 innings. That's all I wanted. And that's what you got. And the bullpen took over, one of the best bullpens in the league. It's still weird saying that. And Carson Benj, for every great play he makes, he gets the balls that other right fielders wouldn't get to. So it looks like he made an error because he slid, but Soto would have never got to that ball. It almost looked like Benj was in foul territory when he touched that ball, but they called it fair. But look, earlier we were talking about what we need to do during the trade deadline segment that I did earlier this evening. And I'm sorry I went on early. Didn't realize that the game was starting right when I was on. For some reason, I thought it was a 7:05. So my bad. Sorry about that if I distracted you from putting the game on. But this is a big outing for Williams. Just for confidence, because there is a chance you may need him in this series. The good thing for the Mets is Juneteenth, because Weaver flew through this inning and gets to rest a day. Williams hopefully throws less than 15 pitches, up to 18 or 19. He'll be good to go Saturday. Because I don't know against Sanchez when you almost throw in the white towel Saturday. and let Peterson get smacked around. I'm being honest; it sounds terrible because with Wheeler going Sunday, you can't use the bullpen Saturday and then have nothing for Sunday because you have to think of the two starters. You have a better chance against Wheeler than you do against Sanchez. So I would think that you set your sights on winning Sunday and you set your sights on being competitive, and anything can happen if the ball bounces the right way Saturday. That's all I can say. You're not supposed to beat Sanchez, but you are supposed to be competitive, and you're in a bandbox here. And I don't know what the weather is for the weekend. Let's see. Weather forecast for Saturday in Philadelphia.
Should be sunny in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania on Saturday.
82. So it's not going to be the miserable heat, the 90 plus, but anything over 80, the ball flies out of there. So the wind was blowing out tonight. It seems to have dissipated a bit. Soto's second home run was definitely helping the wind. And here's Devin, D-Dog, whatever he calls himself, Williams. And here's the first pitch. Strike one to Sosa. Sosa's a good ball player. I didn't realize how good Sosa was. But Manaea, once again, this is, I think, 8 straight outings that he's been pretty good. Wow, what a boost if he's good. 1-1. This just gives you some options. That's what it gives you. If he can give you 5 innings of 2-3 runs, you should be in the game. We can't give you 3 1/3 of 5. That's the thing. There's a good pitch. Strike 2, 1-2. Armando Sosa, good fielder. He's hitting 237. 4 homers, 18 RBIs. I think Bench picked up 2 hits tonight. So maybe he's heating up a bit. So look, Soto came in here and did what Soto's supposed to do. Get you right on the board in the first inning. I was pretty impressed by Manaea. Manaea's control is a lot better. It's not great, but it's a lot better than it was. And I don't know if throwing 93 is that much different than throwing 89. I guess it is. Or maybe he's just letting it out now. The arm's not bothering him. Good pitch, strike 3. Devin circa 2022. So, yeah, I think that Manaea just said, or whomever is working with him, just said, Sean, let it out. Just throw. Don't baby it. Let it go. If it doesn't work out, you're going to have the chip surgery. You're having it anyway. So just let it all out. Throw hard. You're not going to hurt yourself. The doctors probably told him he's not going to hurt. It's the pain he can go through. It's what he can put up with. Because I don't think he's going to do any more damage to that elbow. It's just, if the chips move around, it's painful. Strike. Devin Williams much better in the strike zone and wild around the strike zone over the last few. Soto's missed it consistent. He's hitting over 300 again. He's missed 17 games, and I think he has to be your all-star, doesn't he? Bichette took it over tonight. And that's the difference when you have Lindor back. If Bichette's not hitting and Soto's not hitting, chances are Lindor might do something. If you have 1 of 3 of them hitting, you have a shot. If all 3 are hitting, you're going to have games like this. And I totally believed with the weather, I thought the Mets could put 6 up. I told you that. I didn't think the Mets would have a problem scoring. I said, if you score 5 or 6, I think you'll win this game. We're still not there. It's 3-1. Put it over the plate. If he hits home run at 6-4. Attaboy. Hits home run at 6-4 and you start over. You don't put running. You don't want traffic. Hi, Vinny. I find it funny how for years the future me. What does that mean? That game. Look at Gary Cohen with the arms. Good pitch. But I am shocked how good Weaver's looked. I mean, the guy looks like he has confidence now. He's just up there. He's not this and that, just up there throwing. He can't wait to throw the ball when he gets it back. He's not thinking, he's throwing. If you remember the beginning of the year, he was fiddling around on the mound. He wasn't comfortable. He didn't know what to throw. I had ball 4. You don't walk guys. Not here. 12 pitches, so this looks like it's going to be at least a 20 pitch. Look, it's hard to pitch in Philadelphia. This is a tough lineup to pitch, though. You got the first out. I can see now why Weaver was replaced as the Yankee closer last year. When Weaver's on, he's lights out. But then, like my son told me, who's a Yankee fan, then he gets blown up, and then you lose him for 3 weeks. But he looks terrific. Isn't that amazing game? Yeah. Well, I don't. Well, Gilbert, I don't know how good Gilbert's going to be. I don't think Sprout's going to be anything. Sprout's going to be Peterson. Whoa. Without the all-star first half. Sprout doesn't impress me. Gilbert, I'm not sure about. Jet Williams, yeah, he's been injured this year. I think Jet Williams will be fine. In fact, I'd ask for him back if they want Peralta. Give us Jet back with something else. Jet and McGill, I'll take. There's one there. Oh, just missed. Realmuto still gets down the line okay. I'll tell you, Simeon has lost a lot defensively. He has. If you remember the hit in, I don't know what inning it was, that went under his glove, it was hit hard. 3 years ago, Simeon gobbles that up for a double play. Simeon's a step slow now. You can see it. Yes. I'm glad there were no incidents. How are you, William? Gabriel Rincones, whatever he calls himself. He's hitting 071. That's all you have to know. Oh, he was late on a 94-mile-an-hour fastball like I'd be late on that fastball. Padding his stats, Realmuto with a stolen base, which means nothing really. Yeah, strike 2. I can see why this guy's hitting 071. Justin Crawford's on deck. He had a good at-bat against Minaya. This would be the curveball now, or the change it now. Here it is, the bender. Oh, look at this. To third, the Bichette. And he's safe. Off the bag. First and third, now the tying run comes up. My God. Now it'll be, this is it. Well, that was a tough play. He would have beat it out anyway. Oh, Vientos is off the bag, but he had to be off the bag. He had to save the throw. Lindor makes that play, by the way, people. That's where you lose Bichette at shortstop. He's fine going to his right. He's fine coming in. Crossing over. Yeah, this is a rough batter for Devin Williams. I want to tell you, after this at-bat, after we get him out. See, that's what happens. A guy hitting 071 who couldn't, with your fastball, the first 2 pitches, throws his bat at the ball, and a ground ball that was hit about 65 miles an hour to shortstop. And that'll extend the inning. You may just lose Williams for Saturday now. Because instead of being out of this for 15 or 16 pitches, if he goes 25, you lose him. Because if you notice, they haven't pitched, after 25 pitches, they don't pitch Devin Williams. Back to back, but is it an afternoon game or a night game Saturday? It's almost 2 full days, well, 1 day. And to everyone, just let me say a happy Juneteenth. For those of you who celebrate it and respect it, and God bless you guys. Want to do the right thing on here. And there's a hit. My God. First and second. Oh, you can't make this up. You can't make it up. Look, though. Look, if you would have told me in the first inning before the first pitch, Vin, the Mets will have a 2-run lead, 2 out, 2 runners on in the ninth, I would have signed up for it. If you guaranteed me that I was going to, oh my God, Schwab is up. Oh. This will officially be the worst loss of the year if they lose this game. Oh, that's a strike. That's a strike. Good challenge, Alvarez. By at least an inch. There it is, by an inch, baby. Strike one. That's big. I would not throw him a fastball. To be honest with you, PJ, I don't care if you walk him. I wouldn't throw him a fastball. You throw him a fastball, it's going 400 feet. He would get nothing to hit. You walk him, you walk him. Oh, right in the fun bag. Ooh. Hey, BJ. Yes, no, honestly, I'm politically correct even if I do make it. And I'm never going to make it. But because look, I respect everyone. It's important to some people. And God bless them. If it's important to them, he's hurt again. Be on another 3 weeks. If it's important to them, it's important to me. Juneteenth is legitimate. So to everyone that it concerns, I hope you have a wonderful day and keep it in your hearts because it was done for a reason. If you don't identify with it, you know, I don't like duck. I don't eat it. I don't go into a restaurant and keep on saying, "Oh, duck sucks." I just don't order it. Hey, Rob, how are you? I'm not making light of it. You know what I mean. Happy Juneteenth, everybody. I put my music shorts up early. I'll put that up early. I'm doing good, Rob. How are you, man? This is a scary moment. He would not get a fast. I'll tell you, Devin Williams has a pair throwing this guy fastballs. All he has to do is make contact and it's out. I'd give him the bender. 1 and 2. Now you waste 2 pitches, and then you beat him with your pitch. You don't let him beat you. Don't let him beat you. I don't give a shit if the next guy hits a grand slam 700 fucking feet. You don't let him beat you. This is a guy that hits 50 homers a year. You don't let him beat you. And you don't give him a fastball when he's the best fastball hitter in the league. All right. And if he would have hit that ball, that's out in left field. This guy's scary. The only difference between Soto and this guy is about 20 homers, but this guy will swing out of the strike zone. Soto won't. I remember when this guy came up with the Cubs. He played left field in the playoffs. A ball hit his glove twice. He was the worst left fielder I ever saw in my life. He's about 25 pounds lighter now. And I never thought he'd become this way. And look at this line drive. Bench. Got it. Ball game over. Mets win. Mets win. What am I going to play for you guys? Screw it. I'm going to lose I don't care if I lose my money and everything tonight. So the Mets, big win again. Big win. Look at Ben's going, yeah, I thought I was going to fuck that up. That was hit hard. That ball was hit 105 miles an hour. I'd like to see how hard that ball was hit. And look at Soto. Soto's the man on this team now. Lindor, no more. Soto's the man. Marcus Semien, good game. Marcus Semien finally did something that really meant the game. Oh, really, Rob? Yeah, this Verizon sucks. So great win for the Mets. This is so big because A, you've won your 34th game of the year. B, you can't get swept. And anything can happen. You know anything can happen. And anything could happen Saturday. I'm glad they are off tomorrow. I don't think that matters. I don't think Williams would pitch Saturday, but it helps because you have Weaver. Weaver would close probably Saturday. Hey, Mike, put it in the books. So we have a shot. Freddie Peralta's pitching Saturday. Freddie's got to give you 6. But he's got to give you 6 and 2 runs because Sanchez, Sanchez, his last 12 starts has about a 1.5 ERA. This whole pitching staff is unbelievable. But, and I don't know what we're going against Zach Wheeler, who's been awesome. He has a 2 ERA. He's got to go 6. He may. He put together his best start. Maybe he'll piggyback off that. And I don't know what we're going to do. But look, this is a great win. It's a great win for a bunch of reasons. One, what I've been saying, you can't get swept now. I know it's annoying to hear it from me all the time, but it really is that important. Because think about it, getting swept is a difference of 1 and 3 games. It's really a 2-game reversal, and it's very, very important. And it's important for your psyche too. Don't think for a second that coming home and starting a series Monday or Tuesday, losing 2 of 3 in Philly against a team that's going to win 95 games this year, 90 games, then getting swept in Philly is a big difference, tremendous difference. And the Mets have had, for as bad as the Mets have been, you take away that 12-game losing streak, they've managed to be able to ward off the sweeps. Game, I'll give you our record. How many games do they play in September? When is the season over? Can someone look at that for me? I'm just too lazy to start switching screens. I will give you the record going into September 1st. Tell me how many games they play in September, somebody. And let's see how close I get. I want you to mark it down. Put it on the record, as Steve Summers used to say. I've already told you that Bichette minimum 90 RBIs if he stays with the Mets. Now, I said that 5 weeks ago, 6 weeks ago. And I told you 6 weeks ago he'd hit at least 275. He's at about 250 now. How many games do they play in September? Game about 24? And I'm going to tell you what I really believe, not just to blow smoke up your ass. I'm going to tell you what I really believe. 26 games. Okay. That means you've played 136 going to September. I majored in math. September 1st. How about 71-65. Oh, I'm sorry. Hey, I make my 3 cents with that. 71-65 September 1st. If the Mets are 71-65 September 1st, they'll make the playoffs. That's my prediction. I don't know what the schedule is in September, but I'm guessing, let's say it's 10 out of 20. The Mets would have to go 14-10 to get to 85. Yankees are playing well. No, I think the Mets will be over 500 September 1st. Absolutely. Now, this is if they don't gut the team. Now, you take Freddie Peralta out of there and Bichette, now it's 64 wins you'll have, or 63 wins. There'll be a big difference because you just won't be able to sustain it. They'll bring up the rookies, and Soto will not be pitched to. Mets have Yankees. You know what, Rob? The Mets always handle the Yankees. I don't sweat the Yankees. I don't sweat them at all. Even when the Mets weren't playing good, they beat them 2 out of 3. The Mets, for some reason, that's the Mets. The Yankees are the Rangers. The Mets are the Islanders. When the Islanders were miserable, they used to beat the Rangers. That's their World Series. That's their Stanley Cup. The Mets get up for the Yankees. And believe me, the Yankees have everything to lose and nothing to win when they play the Mets, especially if they play them in September. Because if they don't sweep, it's like, they stink, the Yankees, because you're supposed to sweep them if they stink, right? You know, that doesn't bother me, Rob. You know, that series doesn't matter where you are. It really doesn't. There's no home field advantage there, really. Actually, I think for the Mets, they're better off playing at Yankee Stadium because of Soto, Benj, Ewing pulling it down that line's a home run. I'd rather have Benj hitting to that porch, Ewing hitting to that porch, Mauricio healthy hitting to that porch than hitting here. So I think it's all negligible because wherever Judge hits it, it goes out. Benj, Ewing, they could find the first row where it wouldn't have been out at Citi Field. So I think the Mets have a better advantage, honestly, at Yankee Stadium, as well as the Yankee speed is not what the Mets speed is. You go in the alleys there. That's a triple for Benj, for Ewing. No break, really. Joe, I'm surprised. But so look, this is a terrific win for so many reasons. Like I said, you're able to now not play with house money. I never believed in that. I'll tell you why. If I'm at the blackjack table and I'm up $300 and I'm playing with that $300, I'm not playing with their money. I'm playing with my money. You know how I know? Because if I don't play and I walk out, the cops aren't going to be grabbing me like a Walmart security guard for theft. It's my money. I could walk out and do whatever the fuck I want with it. I can rip it up in front of you. So you're not playing with their money. It's your money. I used to, Rob, 7, 8, and 9 neutral, 2 to 6 plus. I used to count in the 80s when it was 6x. Now, it is house money, but it's your money. And there's no reason you shouldn't want to win more, right? Oh, well, up 300 house, fuck it, I want 800 house money, right? You can call it all you want if you want to dilute yourself to make it feel like you're not losing your money. But the bottom line is the Mets shouldn't be happy because they won tonight. Oh, good, we can't get swept. Fuck it. We'll call Brooklyn guy, let him pitch Sunday. No, you shouldn't do that. You should try to win the fucking game. And Peralta, now, is it unfair to say this is Peralta's biggest start of the season? No. You want 8 years, 220? Yeah, this is. Prove to me that you're worth 8 years. Outpitch Sanchez. Give me a run on 3 hits with 7 strikeouts in 6 innings or 7 innings. Prove to me. Don't go 5, 3 runs, 6 hits, 4 walks, 7 strikeouts, 183 pitches. I don't want to hear it. Show me. McLean just showed us, and he's not in the league 8, 9 years. Show us now what you're made of. Show us why we should sign you for a boatload of money. Show us. Go against their best and give them a good fuck you. That's what you do. That's how you prove to me that, maybe Freddie is worth 8 years, which I'll never believe he's worth 8 years because I don't believe that's any Koufax was worth 8 years. But that's what they get nowadays. To get the player, that's what you have to pay. And it's not my money, so I don't really give a shit. But show me how good you are. This is what you were brought in here for. You were brought in here to win a big game because ace. Be an ace. Their ace is an ace. Now, I'm not. First of all, Freddie Peralta over his career has been better than Sanchez. But am I asking for so much? 2 runs over 6 innings? First of all, it's a 3 ERA. If Freddie Peralta gives you 6 innings of 2 runs, there's no reason you can't win that game. Because the weather's going to be nice there. Bichette's hot. Well, he wasn't hot today. Soto's hot. And I just hope that he doesn't calm down, Bichette, now, because he was touring. He's hitting 380 this month. And Lindor might be back. That could be, Wesley. How are you, man? And I think if he opens his wallet, how many betting rooms did I work for? None. I didn't. Believe it or not, I didn't. I knew them. I knew where they were. And I gambled in them. Horses, always horses. Hey, Denge. So this is the deal. One thing for sure, Melendez, Beatty, Vientos, and Alvarez are not what the Mets need. They don't have any plate discipline, and with the exception of Beatty, the defense is not a plus. Correct, Jose. I couldn't have said it better. The only thing that keeps Beatty here is he can play 4 different positions. Beatty is Jeff McNeil. That's the only reason he's here. And Beatty will get a lot less time when Mauricio comes back. But Mauricio, they have to stop the right-hand hitting. They have to tell Mauricio. There have been players, I don't know off the top of my head, but there have been players that were switch hitters and gave it up. Mauricio should give it up. If he learned to hit lefty against lefties, he'd probably hit better than righty on righty. I'm being serious. He just has to get a lot of at-bats as a lefty because he can't hit as a righty. You can see it. No plate discipline. But it's going to be interesting when Mauricio gets back. I don't know when he's getting back. Pelham Bay, really, game. Yeah, I used to enjoy those horse rooms because in the 80s, they didn't have cable. They had the big dishes. Remember the big dishes on the roof? The satellite? And they order in lunch, and it was cool. Yeah, there's no way they're going to trade because now they're going to want Ben. So let me put the air conditioner on before I fucking keel over here. Yeah, a free agency. Skubal, you know what? It almost helps a little that Skubal was out with injury this year. That'll probably save you 40, 50 million. I would think Skubal's going to want 10, 450. Very important, Jose. This was like a tremendous, tremendous win for the Mets because it just builds confidence. You go into Philly, right? Philly's been playing great. I think Philly's 30-15 over the last 45. I think under Mattingly, he took over as from being a bench coach, and I think they're 30-15 going into tonight. So changing a manager does help. So they've been hot. And And the Mets took it to them. And Nola's nowhere near what he used to be. Nola is terrible now. Nola was really good at one time. But yeah, the only shot I think you have, honestly, is Saturday. Now you have to beat their best pitcher, but you have supposedly your ace going. So I don't see any reason why the Mets can't put up. Well, the Philly bullpen is okay. These pitchers, if you work the count, you'll get them out in the seventh. Sanchez, he'll go 6. He's going to strike out 9. Just stay within a run because I like our bullpen better than theirs. Let me be down a run in the 7th inning, coming up in the top 7. With Sanchez ready to be out of the game. I'll take that right now. I'll sign up for that. Being down 1, top 7, their starters out of the game. I'll take it. I know it sounds weird. You take being down? Absolutely. Absolutely. I don't want this to be 6-1 in the 4th inning with Sanchez with 8 strikeouts in 4 innings. I don't want that. Yeah, I think they're 30-15. And I don't consider Mattingly a very good manager, to be honest with you. Mattingly's not a top 10 or 15 manager. No way. He's a good manager. He's better than Mendoza. I'm better than Mendoza. I'd win 71 games with this team if you put me behind the bench right now. You know what I would do? You want me to show you what I would do? Someone better send me $1 super chat because this is a good one. This is what I'd do. I'd walk in the clubhouse with the checkbook. I'd say, Vientos, here's $1 million. Get the fuck out of here. Melendez, thanks. But get the fuck out of here. Follow him. Share a cab because I didn't give you that much. That's what I do. I get rid of all these pieces of shit. That's what I would do. Hey, Ray. I'm being serious. I swear to you, I'm being serious here. I think that I know enough about baseball that I could win the same games as Mendoza can. Now, let me tell you this. I would need someone to help me. I would bring in my own pitching coach. I'd bring in Brooklyn. And I'd say, Brooklyn, this is all you have to do. Just tell me to take my medicine every 4 hours so I don't get like this. And keep track of the bullpen. How many pitches they're throwing, who we can use, who's available. Because I don't want to do everything. But that's what I would do. Ronnie Mauricio, I would say, if you ever step up right again, you're never playing again. So if you happen to forget and walk toward the right-hand batter's box, you're out. That's what I would do. Beatty, I would tell Beatty this. I'd say, you're not here for your bat. You better be a plus defender at the end of the year. So if you're not going to hit, take 1,000 fucking ground balls a day because you better be Ozzie fucking Smith in the field. That's what I'd say. Game, I agree with you. I'm sure you can. Yeah, you know what I would say when Vientos comes over to me? I'm not playing today, okay? That's what I'd say, okay? Like they do. I'd bring my interpreter. I'd say, tell him, no, you're not going to play today, maybe tomorrow. My interpreter say, no, we told you go fuck yourself. Paquito. And what's up? Not in particular. I could speak Spanish a little. Not enough to speak it, though. So now I'll tell you what I think needs to happen this weekend. And look, maybe I'm dead wrong. Which, big shock if I am, right? I want this. I want Mendoza. And ask and you shall find.
Understanding roles, and it was a perfect example. Brasso got the righties, then got the lefties, and then once you get to that position, you hand the ball to Weave and then Denning there.
The Mets have won 5 of 8, by the way. I'm reading it. I'm cheating. Bench 3 for 5. Oh, we had 3 hits that bench. 0 for 5 this year.
I mean, this is a guy that is more than capable of carrying a.
Do you notice also? I have to tell you this much. I'm being serious. If Vientos started hitting, I'd be happy for the Mets. I wouldn't be happy for him because I think I'm happy for Manaea. I'll tell you why. Because my friend Jeff, who works for the Mets at spring training, if you go through my channel, he was the head security guy when we worked security in the 80s, all the big clubs. He said that Manaea is one of the nicest guys you ever want to meet. A Puerto Rican. Right, Brooklyn? A Puerto Rican. Nicest guy you ever want to meet. And in fact, Jeff told me that he told him to cut his hair and he cut his hair. I don't know if that's true. But I'd be happy for him because he always says he always is there to answer your question. He takes it on the chin. Vientos just is immature. You know what it's like? It's like me being 68 years old, ready to retire. Me having $3 savings, and you ask me, how come you don't have enough to retire? Well, I was sick for about a year. Sick for a year? You worked 48 years. That's why you don't have it? Well, that's what Vientos said to me. You hit 200 this month. You hit in hard luck? What, 3 out of 4 balls were Ozzie Smith catches? Even if you hit in hard luck, 1 at a game, then you hit 225. Oh, Rosie O'Donnell. I can't hate that guy. I hate that guy. So I'll tell you this much. I think that we have a legitimate shot to turn this around. Doesn't mean that we're going to make the playoffs. I'm not saying we're going to make the playoffs. We dug a pretty, like playing in the sandbox, and when I'm little, my sandbox is quicksand. They buried a pretty good hole for themselves. It's Chuck Wepner. If you finish the fight and you look like I got hit by a fucking bat, all right. You stayed in there. You gave it your best shot. You missed by 3 games. You finished over 500. And you know what? That 12-game losing streak killed you. I can live with that. If the Mets win 85 now and miss by 2 games, I'm fine with it. I'll tell you why I'm fine with it. Because I know Mendoza's not coming back. He's not. Even if they make the playoffs this year, he's not. I'm fine with it. Because that means that everyone played well. If the Mets win 85 games this season, Soto hit 40 homers plus. Lindor came back and was a star. Bichette knocked in his 95. Manaea turned it around. You know how I know? Because they can't win 85 games with that stuff not happening. That's how I know. No, you're stuck on the 75, huh? I don't think they're going to lose 87 games, Brooklyn. Not if they keep the team together. I don't think they will. I think the worst that they would be is 8 under. I know. I would take no joy, but I don't think this team is deep enough to win anyway. Now, if you were able to trade for Skubal and give up, I don't know, give them the Cyclones, give them the whole fucking team. Like, let them own the team, not the players. If you didn't have to give up Benj and everybody, give up Jonathan. I'm fine with that. Now, if you have him for 13 starts and you squeak into the playoffs, and I have McLean, Skubal, not in that order, and Peralta, I'll take a shot. With a healthy Lindor I'll take a shot. Come get me against Scooble, McLean, and Peralta. And this bullpen. I'll take my chances. Not saying we're going to win the World Series. I think Milwaukee's going to win the World Series this year. But they're going to win the World Series just to shove it to fucking Stearns. That's how things work out, you know. That's a big fuck you to Stearns. We didn't need you. We won the World Series. Why do you think? Bet Milwaukee to win the World Series right now. How is that a perfect fuck you to Stearns? That you left and we won. So how smart were you? I'm telling you, things like that happen. Hey, Jose. Yadier Molina was a good player. All those brothers were good. Benji was good. Dodgers, I think Milwaukee's better than the Dodgers. And you know what? You heard it here. And you could beat me up if I'm wrong. By July 15th or 20th, Ohtani's going to be out of the rotation. Telling you. Ohtani will be rested. And then it'll start stretching out in September again. Yeah, that's funny. Scott Boras. I met Scott Boras in Naples, Florida, in the Ritz-Carlton. He was very nice. You know who he was with? This was 1992, maybe. He was with John Ritter. And I went to get a massage. And I asked the masseuse, how was John Ritter? And she said, pain in the ass. She said his wife came in to say sorry in advance for what I was going to have to deal with him. She said that. You know who I also met there? Claude Lemieux. It was either the year the Devils won, was it 94 or something? It was when the Devils won, right after the season. And he was very quiet. He wasn't very friendly. But Scott Boras was very nice. I told him I knew Sam and Seth Levinson, which are agents. He knows them well, obviously. But the Dodgers, you know what? For whatever reason, I just don't think the Dodgers are going to three-peat. Jackson Avenue, $40. Oh, that was politically correct. $40. Yeah, and then they give you a $50 credit to go to the clinic. Yes, Rob, you're so right. We were talking about this the other night. I don't know if you were in here. Yeah, I can't imagine they're not looking for one. I would think they've been, because there were rumors he was searching for one. I think he's probably searching for one. They probably don't have anybody that he can get along with. No one that'll yes him to death. That's probably what it is. And I guarantee you, people, the GM will be under 50. They're going young. It's a young man's game now. It really is. They want young managers. My guess is Cora will be the new manager. I think Cora didn't go to the Phillies because he wanted some time out to hang out with his family. And I also believe that he wants to see if Roberts retires in LA. If Roberts wins the World Championship in LA, Roberts will retire. I think a championship will make him retire. And I think Cora would like to go to LA. So he's going to see if that job's available. Got to remember, 3 or 4 jobs will become available this offseason. Cora wants a pick. I'm not saying he won't come to the Mets, but he's young and he's good. But, you know, he also has a reputation. He told the GM of Boston, when the GM of Boston 2 different times wanted to fire Cora's coaches. And Cora said, you fire them, I'm leaving. This time he didn't give a shit. All right, leave. He fired them all. Cora is headstrong. I don't know if Stearns can work well with Cora. That's the problem. Rob, I'll tell you why. Take it from me. Please take it from me. That's all I can tell you. Anybody that knows me for 5 years on here can tell you one thing I don't do. I don't have to put red meat out here to make money on my channel. I don't have to make a dollar on here. And I do this for fun. But take it from me. Stearns told Mendoza. This wasn't told to me, but take it from me. Stearns told Mendoza, look, I'm going to bring a bunch of mercenaries in here. The back of their baseball cards, I'm bringing you in a guy that won the batting title last year in Bichette. You're going to have Soto a second year, comfortable. We've spoken to him. You're going to have Lindor, still edge of his prime. Let them all get along. I did something that no one has ever done. I replaced 5 starters in my everyday lineup in one offseason. Never in baseball has 4 core players been let go the same offseason. Check it out. The Mets had 5 new players in their starting lineup. I don't know how it's going to work, Mendy. If it works, great. If it doesn't, we're going to be able to sell off, rebuild, which I wanted to do 2 years ago anyway. You know how I know he wanted to rebuild? He let the whole core go. Do you think he thought Melendez was the fucking answer? No, he didn't want the core here because he knew he wasn't replacing them this year. He knew he wasn't replacing him. Do you think that he thought that Benj, Ewing, and Morabito were going to replace? No, he knew they weren't. What he wanted to do 2 years ago was rebuild. The Mets fucked them good by almost going to the World Series. How could you let go of the guys then? He almost did because he didn't offer Alonso a contract. And you know when they offered Alonso a contract? When they got booed unmercifully at the Met Day at Citi Field, where Cohen said, I can't have this. And the next day they signed Pete Alonso. He didn't want him then after winning because he didn't want him. You didn't hear him getting rid of Nemo. You didn't hear him trading McNeil, right? All you heard was Alonso wasn't going to be signed. Why didn't he trade McNeil? Why didn't he trade Nemo coming off a good year, 25 homers? Because he wanted Alonso out. And he told Mendy, I'm going to have Peralta. And he sold this, by the way, to Cohen, too. He told Cohen, look, you hired me because you want long-term, right? You didn't hire me to buy a stock that you make $2 million on today, and the rest of the time you make nothing. You want $150,000 for the next 40 years. You want long-term success. Leave it to me. There's going to be bumps. You're a stock guy. Did you ever have a little problem with stocks, but then eventually it went, what do you just make $1 million every fucking stock you buy? No, it's for the long term. I'm doing this, Steve, for the long term. 7 years from now, we're going to be much better if we suck this year than if we win 84 for the next 5 years and never get anywhere. Let's win 79, 83, then win 95, 95, and 98. Everyone wants Benj. We're not just touting him as a great prospect. Everybody is the first person they ask for. So obviously, we're not blind. He's that good. Everybody asks for Jonah Tong. He was the minor league player of the year, pitcher of the year. That's not us saying it. We have Ewing. We have Clifford. Clifford's going to be another Lucas Duda. That's what Clifford's going to be. And you got the casino. We're going to have plenty of money. And around the periphery, we can bring in people. We're going to go younger. I'm not going to extend Mendy. He's a good guy for the organization. When his contract runs out, we'll hire him to do something in the organization. He's a good man. You want stability in this team. We'll bring in a young buck to manage the team because we need a young guy to be able to relate to the 21 and 22-year-olds that are going to be starting. We're also going to have more minor league playing because we're probably going to be out the first 2 months next year. So they're going to play another 40 games down in the minors, and they're going to have more experience. So we don't have to rush these guys because we're probably not starting till May next year. We could sell off Bichette. We could sell off Peralta and get 4 prospects for those guys. And we could re-sign Peralta and re-sign Bichette if we want, because they're free agents. So you sign Peralta for 7 years and 190, whatever you sign, and you got 2 prospects with that signing. You re-sign Bichette and get 2 prospects with that signing. That's what he did. And if you happen to make the playoffs, Mendy, great. Steve, you made $100 million this year if we make the playoffs because the team goes up if you make the playoffs. We happen to go to the finals, you make $200 million. That's what he said to Steve Cohen. Steve, you brought me in here to do a job. Let me do it. I can't change this organization. It was terrible for 25 years. I can't turn it around in 3 years. Okay, we took a shot with Verlander and Scherzer, 2 first ballot Hall of Famers that we thought they had a year left in them. They got hurt. The next year, I tweaked around the margins, and we almost went to the World Series, and we gave the Dodgers a better shot than the Yankees gave them. Let me do it my way. And Cohen bought it. And I'll tell you why Cohen bought it. Because Cohen waited 2 years to sign this guy. Cohen waited for this guy. He wanted Stearns. And like Stearns says, and I'm saying this, I'm bipolar. I've been on 30 different cocktails. You'd never know. To get to where I am, you're probably going to say, well, Ben, it's not working. Try another 20. But you know what I mean? You got to tweak. Not all the time, game. Not all the time. There are 2 things I think now more than I thought 3 years ago. A, he wanted the casino a little more than I thought he wanted it. I'm not saying he doesn't care about the Mets. Because let me tell you something. I've been in meetings with guys like that. I worked for Bear Stearns for years. I was a VP at JP Morgan Chase. You have an ego. Cohen bought a team because he wanted to go into restaurants, go to the Knick game, there's the owner of the Mets. Cohen loses $200 million a year with the Mets. Cohen could have gone into a restaurant chain and made money every year. The difference is no one's going to say, oh, there's the owner of Red Lobster. It's cool to own a team. There's also an ego with those guys. Don't think for a second he's not embarrassed about this. Anybody in that position has a tremendous ego. Take it from me, I dealt with him. He's not happy about what's going on. And I will tell you this. If they don't win in the next 3 years, in 31, when the casino's up a year, he's going to say there's a conflict of interest. I have to sell my. That's what he's going to do. He'll keep a minority stake, probably for a write-off. But he will do what Nelson Doubleday did. Sell his interest to Wilpon. But he'll keep, when Wilpon kept like 10% of the team, Cohen will keep 15%. So we can say, I'm an owner. I get the box. You know, you still have the box. You have all the shit. So that's what happened here. Stearns wanted to rebuild anyway. But he wanted to put a winner on the field for Cohen. And I don't think he's that upset, Stearns. Because this is what he wanted. You know how I know he wanted a rebuild? McNeil's gone, Alonso's gone, Diaz is gone, Nemo's gone. Alonso's going to hit 500 home runs. Wouldn't it have been nice to have him here 5 years from now? When he's going for number 500, there's 50,000 people in the fucking place every night. He didn't care. Because if you're 70 and 92, they'll come to see Pete Alonso hit number 50 or number 500. And then from 55,000, you'll have 9,000 there because everybody saw it. If you win 95 games, you'll have 50,000 every fucking night there. And that's what Stearns says to Cohen. That's what he says to Cohen. You want to make money over the next 7 years? Let me handle it. You want to win this year and then suck for 7 years and may not win this year because only one team wins the World Series? Look across the river. That team hasn't won in ages. That's what happened. Jose, it depends. He might actually feel there was a conflict of interest there. But I'm starting to think that, again, long-range plan. In 2021, he was looking at 2030 to have a casino. I don't know if it's the timeline. But just like he waited to get the casino and he won, he'll win with the Mets. You got to give him a little time. We are still better off now than we were with the Wilpons because the Wilpons, as good people as they were, first of all, Jeff Wilpon was very nice, but his father, he brought him onto the college team. He was a terrible ball player, and he gave a big endowment so he could play in college. He's a terrible player. But they're good people. Probably a much better human being than Cohen, honestly. But they didn't have the money. They just didn't have. Look, when Wilpon had the money, he signed Martinez, Delgado. He signed a lot of big guys when he had the money. He wasn't cheap. He signed Piazza. He wasn't cheap. He was cheap when he had no money. And now he's probably 104 years old now. He can't own a team. Now he's too old. But Cohen wants sustained success. And Stearns had Milwaukee in the conversation for World Series with no payroll for 5 years in a row. Cohen saw that and said, okay, you sold me. Can I tell you something, Jose? And I mean this with all respect. To be good, you can't give a shit about the fan base. You can't give a shit. It's like you don't punish your kid because what the other parent will say. Fuck the other parent. You do what you have to do. You don't care what people think. Because fans run off emotions. And that's the problem. Brooklyn probably. Fans deal with emotions. The one thing I give Stearns credit with is that he doesn't deal off emotions. I do give him a little credit for that. Cohen does because Bichette was signed because of emotions. They lost out on Carl Tucker at 11 o'clock, and by 11 o'clock the next morning, Bichette was signed. That was Cohen. That wasn't Bichette. That was not. Stearns did not give him $42 million a year. Believe me. Philly offered him 34. No, that was Cohen. So give him whatever he's got to come to get here. In here, we need him here. We're taking a PR. Back then, they were taking a fucking hit every single day. So, well, yeah, but Jose, he put a lot of those people in place. He brought Kristen Yelich there. He built that farm system. It's, you know what? You have to have a nice balance. You have to be able to deal with emotions like fans really wanted Alonso here. You know, it's not like Alonso was coming off 21 homers and 55 RBIs, hitting 219, and he won it 5 years. The guy was coming off of his best season in 3 years. For whatever reason, and I'm telling you, this was told to my friend by a drunk friend of Stearns. Stearns blamed Alonso for the Mets not making the playoffs because he hurt Senga. He almost hurt Diaz. Diaz pulled up almost lame. He threw an errant throw and almost hurt, I think it was Torrens last year. He almost got run over. Stearns in his heart believed that if Alonso wasn't playing first base last year, the Mets win. And I'll tell you how I know this. Because with the great year that Pete Alonso had, he was a 3 WAR. Senga would have been a 4 or 5 WAR. You missed by 1 game. That's the game. Take it from me. He blamed Alonso. He said the defense is going to get one of our pitchers really hurt bad. Chin Ming Wang, or whatever his name was, covering first base, was never the same. His career was over, that Yankee pitcher, because of a bad throw. Alonso, Diaz got hurt. Senga twice got hurt with Alonso. His rookie year, too. He almost went over the bag. He went flying over the bag. Yeah, look, William, I don't blame Alonso. Look, he got a bag. I don't blame him. And he's going to hit 40 and knock in 110 probably in Baltimore. William, you can hit 16 homers in Baltimore. You think Philly is a bandbox. In Baltimore, August 10th, it's 98 fucking degrees. You pop out the short, it ends up off the fucking bridge. Baltimore, the ball flies out of Baltimore. No, he didn't, Larry. Larry, Soto hit 40 homers, knocked in 100 and something runs. He had a 420 on base percentage of 4. He walked 100 times. Soto had an unbelievable year last year. Look at the stats. Juan Soto last year. Last year, Juan Soto was 43, 105, 38 stolen bases, 127 walks, an OPS plus of 157. Alonso had a better year than Soto? I don't know where you're looking. We didn't. You ask anyone in this world who they want to pitch to, not one person will say Soto. Soto's also not liked in baseball. Pete Alonso last year was 38 and 126. His OPS plus was 122. 35. Soto was 35% better than Pete Alonso. Pete Alonso's WAR was a 3.3 last year. .3 WAR. Last year, playing a disgusting left field. Soto was a 6. Doubled his WAR. He was worth 6 wins. Pete Alonso was worth 3. Alonso, not even close last year. Yeah, but Larry, his on base percentage is 50 or 60 points higher. Well, right field at Yankee Stadium is very easy to play. Soto graded above average in right field at Yankee Stadium. Yankee Stadium is very small. There's no ground to cover at Yankee Stadium. Right field at Citi Field's a horror. But no, there was no. I'm not saying Alonso didn't have a good year last year, but not he didn't have the year Soto. Soto scored, knocked it on. Soto had a very big year last year. The OPS plus, he was 57% better than the average player. Soto. Alonso was 23. And Soto, if he had any defense, would be an 8 WAR player. If Soto was good defensively, he'd be an 8 or a 9 WAR player. That's why Judge is 11. If Judge fielded like Soto, he'd be an 8. Defense comes into that OPS plus. Oh, yeah, William. Yeah, Soto had a much better year than Alonso. Alonso had a great year, don't get me wrong. But there's a comparison, but Soto had a better year. But look, Pete had a great year. Pete also knocked in, I think, 15 runs his last 19 games. Go look at it. Pete got incredibly hot. Pete had 105 RBIs with like 15 games left and went on a tear to get to 126. He was on pace for like 108 or 110 the whole year. He got very hot the last couple of weeks of the season. Yeah. Oh, no. Yeah. He struck out a lot more. He clogs up the bases. Soto stole 38. Oh, Wesley, Soto last year would have hit 50 if he didn't get off to that start. And this year he's having a great year. He's missed 17 games. He's on pace for 40 homers. Soto's going to go 40 and 100 this year. Missing 17 games. OPS, again, OPS plus 160. I wonder what his OPS plus is now. I know he's about a 1.5 WAR right now. Soto's OPS plus this year is 164. Last year it was 157. Statistically, he's having a better year right now than he did last year. So he's 61% better than your average player. Pete Alonso's 134. Pete Alonso, he's 22 OPS plus, 22% better Soto this year than Pete Alonso. He's having a good year, Alonso. Don't get me wrong. His on-base percentage is 336. His slug is 446. Soto's on-base percentage 393. Slugging percentage 555. Soto. Alonso's a nice ball player. Soto. Alonso here's a difference. I'll say it this way. And you could tell I've followed baseball a minute. Soto is a force in the Met lineup. Always. Alonso's a force when he's hot. Let me say it again. Pete will go 1 for 25, walking twice. Soto will go 1 for 25 with 8 walks in there, 7 runs scored. And he still had a 350 on base percentage, where Pete had a 100. That's the difference. And Pete, when he's not going well, in those 25 at bats, will strike out 15 times. Soto will strike out 8. So even when Soto's 1 for 25, he's putting the ball in play and he's walking. Soto's not doing that. So Soto has more of a daily impact on your lineup than Alonso does. Alonso has a big impact when he's hot, but Alonso disappears for 3 weeks. That's the difference. Still, I love him. Brooklyn, tomorrow is Juneteenth. I think it's a federal holiday. You know what I think should be a federal holiday? Elon Musk's birthday, because he saved the astronauts. He went up and got them. Why isn't that a federal holiday? He saved the lives of astronauts, got them home. That's pretty important, isn't it? No, first base. Who said no? First base was not an easy position. It's not easy. First base. You know why first base is easy? Can I tell you why? Because usually when you play first base, you were a first baseman since you were 6. You've been playing it all your life. That's why. Generally speaking, the first baseman is not a good athlete. That's why he's at first base. When you're in college, you're either a pitcher, a center fielder, or a shortstop. The best athlete, when I was in high school, I played shortstop. I went to center field. Usually a center fielder will alternate at shortstop or pitch. Generally, your best athletes in high school can pitch because everyone wants to pitch in high school. They all want to pitch. But they're good athletes. Nolan McLean, Jacob deGrom. Pretty good athletes, right? Griffin Canning, great athlete, Gold Glove pitcher. Mo Vaughn, well, generally speaking, it's least athletic guy at first base. Look, Mike Piazza couldn't play first base. But meanwhile, Gary Carter moved to first base and did an adequate job. Wasn't great. He did an adequate job. Piazza was a butcher at first base. Phillips, remember Mike Phillips at the Mets? He was a catcher. They moved him to first. He used to do a headlong dive to catch a ball. I'll give you 3 players that moved to first base that did pretty well. One, obviously, is Bryce Harper. Bryce Harper's a great athlete. They wanted to save wear and tear on his knee. He had 2 knee operations. Todd Zeile. But Zeile played third base. Pete Rose. Good athlete, not a great one. Oh, yeah, William. Well, Soto's plate discipline very rarely wavers. You'll see him swing at a couple of bad pitches when he's not going well. Very rarely do you see him take. I've never, ever seen Soto take a Mark Vientos swing. I've never seen him take a Bo Bichette swing. I've never seen him take an Alonso swing. Have you ever seen Soto swinging a ball that's 2 inches off the ground and 4 feet out of the strike zone? I guarantee you, if he's done it once in 2 years, it's a lot. Vientos does that once a game. That's how you could tell when Alvarez is going well. When Alvarez is going well, he doesn't swing at that pitch. When he isn't going well, he swings at that pitch. Now, there are shortstops that aren't good athletes. One is Bo Bichette. Bo Bichette's not a great athlete. He's good. Listen, if you're a major league ball player, you're not compared to us. They're good. He's not a great athlete, Bo Bichette. He has decent footwork. See, Vientos has no footwork. He's slow. Bichette's not fast. He's quick. Vientos has a good arm. But Vientos isn't an athlete. I'll tell you who I think could be. Ewing could play center field and could play second base. Ewing is an athlete like the guy from Houston, Altuve. That's the kind of athlete he is. I don't think he'll ever hit 30 homers, but that's the kind of athlete he is. He's that good an athlete. I'll give you a good athlete. Jeff McNeil was a good athlete. But then again, Jeff McNeil played basketball in college. He's a scratch golfer. Jeff McNeil could have been a pro golfer. He golfs out of Plandome. My friend is a starter over there. And he is just as competitive on the golf course as he is in baseball. He almost broke his club because he missed. He almost went like that to a $400 putter last year. Very competitive. I'll give you a guy that I knew. I knew the brothers very well. One was a fireman, one was a cop. Pete Harnish. Remember Pete Harnish? Pete Harnish used to play pickup basketball in Long Island. The brothers. One was a cop, one was a fireman. They were big guys. Pete Harnish would have a fist fight once a day with one of his brothers. Elbow to the face. He was one of the most competitive guys you ever want to meet in your life. I'll give you another really competitive guy, John Franco. John Franco's a good athlete. He's just not, he's 5'9.5". He's not big. Brooklyn, I've heard those rumors. You want to hear a great story? Press 1 if you want to hear a great story. Yeah, Brooklyn. What did they win? I've never seen a team score like 5 or 6 runs goals in soccer. How the fuck do you ever score a goal in soccer? How does anyone ever score in soccer? That is the most frustrating game to watch. Okay, Brooklyn. A dear friend of mine who's no longer here, he passed away, was a limousine driver. Keith Hernandez lived on 49th and 2nd. I drove him home. He couldn't get a cab one night. Right down the block, Rusty Staub lived. Brian Dennehy, the actor, was drunk out of his face in a limousine and asked the limousine driver, "Could I use your phone?" It was back in the day, no cell phones. It was the 80s. And Rusty was living on 3rd Avenue, right near Gramercy Park, somewhere over there. A Sutton Place, because Ronnie Darling lived down the block from him. Ron Darling lived in Sutton. No, I'm sorry. Ron Darling lived downtown, but he also had a place in Sutton Place originally. Brian Dennehy calls Rusty Staub, and Rusty won't pick up. And then he said, "Yeah, because he's afraid I'm going to come over and stick it up." That's a true story. My friend was in my wedding party. He wasn't lying to me. That's a true story. I knew about Rusty Staub. My ex worked in Washington. Rusty Staub's wife worked in Washington. And when she divorced Rusty, lifestyle something is what she put on the divorce. That was the reason. Because I've never heard of, okay. So I asked my friend if he believed that story. He told me that twice on the Upper West Side, Sam Champion lived. And there was a domestic with Piazza and Sam Champion. And Sam Champion was out in the hall with shorts on, like a cut-off workout shirt. And they tried very hard. He didn't want the cop to come into the apartment. And Piazza was in the apartment. I'll tell you when Piazza went blonde, because I met him with Johnny down at a club right before the list came out. Would it have been about 2007? When the steroid, joking around, I saw Johnny at a club. Hey, what are you doing? Mike Piazza was blonde. It was right around when the list came out for the steroids. And jokingly, I said, "Oh, what are you guys doing?" And he said, Mike's celebrating. He's not on the list. He said that. He was probably joking around. But Piazza was nice. Johnny had what did he have back then? A Range Rover, a black Range Rover. He was living in Toad Hill. He didn't live far from where Castellano lived. But, yeah, some of these stories you hear. And you don't know if they're true. Was he? I am too. Well, Brooklyn, to end this, and I was kind of almost heartbroken by this. I know a guy that was very good friends with Elton John. And he swore to me that Elton John and John Lennon had a short thing in 1974. He wasn't drunk when he told me it. And there's no reason he should lie to me. Now, I would think John wasn't doing anything. I would think it was the other way around. But who knows? They're all rumors, all speculation. But think about it. He might have. Yeah, right. But yeah, it was around 2006 or 7, right? That's when it was. Probably 2007. Because I remember he had the blonde hair. You hear these stories, but I will tell you, I'll leave you with this. Out of a 25-man team, statistically, 2.5 people should be gay. Do the math. If you're going by statistics, 2.5 players per locker room should be gay. Why would we think that baseball is different than any other? Right? Well, I'll give you one more story. Oh, I don't know, Brooklyn, but I'll give you one more story. Back when the rumors about Mike Piazza came out, everyone thought they were talking about Roberto Alomar. There was a lot of talk about Roberto Alomar as well. Which doesn't mean anything. Who cares? I could care less. Nowadays, they'd build a statue for you outside the Citi Field if you said you were gay. If Lindor or whomever ever said they were gay, they'd make George Floyd's statue look like a fucking toy soldier. The Mets are the first team. They're not gonna. Can you imagine? Fucking the grass would be spray painted pink. Anyway, thank you everybody for coming in. I really do appreciate it. I really do appreciate you always supporting me. I truly do. I don't say it enough probably because I go on these rants. But I know you guys have other things to do, and I know there are so many other channels that cover this stuff. And thank you for even spending some time with me. I'm honored. I really am. And again, if you guys, anybody that wants to come in, I'll drop a link if you want to come in and say hello and talk baseball. That's the difference between my channel and a lot of them. You guys are my friends. You're not subs. You are welcome anytime to come in here. I mean that. Brooklyn, happy June 19th. And for everyone that celebrates June 19th, God bless you all. No Met. Now, I'm going to ask you guys for something. There's 16 people in here. I am going to ask you for a favor. Okay? I am. I'm not asking you for any money. But I am going to ask you for this. I'm doing a review of a Beatle album tomorrow night. All I ask is that you come into the chat and just say a comment. Then you can leave. Because I'm doing it for St. Jude. I raised St. Jude. I told you when I was very young, I lost someone, 5-year-old. I'm doing it for that. So if you can just come in. No, I'm actually doing the second album, Brooklyn. I was going to go chronologically. But you know what? For you, I'm going to do the White Album tomorrow night. It'll give me a lot to talk about. For you, Brooklyn, I was going to do the second album because I did the first one. I'm doing the White Album tomorrow. But please, if you can come in and just leave a comment, it'll mean the world to me. Because I'm trying to get a sponsor to sponsor St. Jude. One show a month. And if they see it, I'll probably do it between 7 and 9. But even if you could catch it on the replay if you're not around, I don't expect you on a Friday night to, oh my God, honey, fuck PHIlLLIES. I got to watch Brooklyn Guy. I don't expect you to do that. But if you could just come in and just say something whenever. Oh, Rob, are you? Oh, shit. I love Pink Floyd. I went to see, who the hell did I go see? Not Roger Waters, the other one. He was amazing. And I got to tell you, his daughter is so hot. Not, who's the other guy? Thank you, Rob. Who's the other guy? Not Roger Waters, the other guy. He played in Paul McCartney's band for a while. David Gilmour. Gilmour's daughter's gorgeous. And I went to see him. Now, Roger Daltrey. He was real nice. He came out the side. He was very, very nice. And she was fucking gorgeous, his daughter. She's like 20, 21. Look at old man here. Thank you. Tomorrow night, thank you. Just come in and say a comment. I really do appreciate it. And it might be interesting. I think you'll like it. God bless you. Have fun with your Pink Floyd band. They were great, Floyd. They were amazing. Money. Another brick. We don't need no. Love that. 1979. I was in high school. My band played my father's place. And Rob, really? My band played there in 1981. I saw Squeeze there in 78. I was 17. My band played my father's place. In Roslyn, yeah. Right near Fidelity. It's a great place. I love the acoustics there. I have friends that go there and see the bands all the time over there. You know what? I'm wondering if my friends are going to be there tomorrow night. Oh, you're later in June. You know what? I will come. Please give me the date. I will definitely come. Hey, you support me. I'll support you, man. I'll bring a table down. I promise you. I'll do that. And I'll say, oh, we're here to see my friend. Thank you very much, everybody. I'll see you tomorrow night with the White Album. God bless you all. Happy June 19th. Wink, wink.